Well, hello everyone, and welcome to You Are Born Rich, our weekly success group call. As you all know, we're going through a series of Bob Proctor's programs. Right now, we're studying the Born Rich learning system. By the way, this is a TV broadcasting from Romania. I'm a Bob Proctor life success consultant and thinking into result facilitator, which means that I've been trained by Bob to facilitate these types of lessons, courses, seminars, and so on. But I don't really emphasize that a lot. What I know is that this stuff works. They've really helped me improve my life in a very big way. And I know for a fact that it can help anyone on this call because what Bob teaches us in these lessons is something very important. We learn about ourselves. And one thing we all know is that we can do better. Can be a little better, can be a lot better, but we definitely can do better, and we can do better starting right now. And what this program does, it offers you a good balance of education, awareness through knowledge, and I would say motivation, because when you know so much about yourself, and when you know that there's a new way, when you know that you're capable to really achieve a lot of great things and then achieve some great goals you can set up for yourself, you become motivated, you get in alignment with what you want. And this is what we're starting here. Just before I go any further, I just want to welcome everyone on the call. And we have people on the call who sometimes even take time from work to listen in, and feel very grateful for that you take the time to listen to these types of calls. And I always try to make them as efficient as possible, because efficiency is an important word in today's economy and in today's interconnected world. I mean, nobody wants long conferences anymore. Nobody wants to see a lot of long videos anymore, because we're living in a very dynamic environment right now. You want the information delivered to you as soon as possible, as fast as possible, and as effective as possible. And this is what I'm trying to achieve, because I want to respect this. I think what's happening in the world today is very good. I think that we're living in a world where we have access to a lot of great knowledge. And one thing we should always bear in mind about us is that we have a brain which can learn pretty much anything we assign it to. If you want to become an expert in any field, you can do that. Doesn't matter what field it is, it doesn't matter how old you are, you can accomplish it as long as you believe you can do it, and as long as you take the time and do what it takes to make it happen. And what we're going to be studying today is an interesting lesson. It's a lesson on developing the attitude of expectancy, of expecting the best. It's called Expect an Abundance. And we were studying the Let Go and Let God chapter last week. That lesson makes you feel that you're not alone. Even if you might be striving to reach some goals by yourself, you always need to know that there's a power who can always support you in achieving what you want, and can support you in some great and unexpected ways if you understand it and if you allow it to. And if you really want to maximize this support, you need to expect what's the best. It's very hard to get something positive, to get a positive result, if you're expecting the worst. It doesn't really work that way. And we're going to go a bit deeper in today's lesson. But before that, I promised Mihaela on our last call that we're going to take some time so she can share a story in relation to our last chapter, Let Go and Let God. And hope she remembers that, because I certainly do. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give Mihaela a few seconds here, and I'm going to mute her line to see if she wants to share with us today. Now, let's see here. So let's give a warm welcome to Mihaela from beautiful Greece. Can you hear me, Michaela? I think she muted herself. Maybe she wasn't expecting me. We're speaking about expectation. Are you here, Michaela? Maybe we should name the lesson Expect TV to open your line. Okay. You're from your tablet. I understand. Well, maybe we can come again next time and do that. Okay, let me just check my settings here. Looks that you guys can hear me well. My slides are showing. The call is being recorded. And we're set to go. Let's start with a nice affirmation, because as we move on through these programs, we talk about different ways to impact our subconscious minds, and affirmations are one of them. So today's affirmation is, I'm open, ready, and I'm expecting to attract abundance in my life. Attracting abundance in our life. This is what the program is about. And abundance is not a clear term. Don't think there is a brain cell that can recognize abundance. But here is where you should decide what abundance means for you. What abundance means for you in your professional life. What abundance means for you in your personal life, in your lifestyle. And when you get clear on what you want, you will know what to expect. And it's going to be a lot easier to expect that. The mind is a powerful magnet, and as such it attracts whatever corresponds to its ruling state. Expectation dictates what that ruling state will be, and therefore governs what corresponds to the mind and is attracted into your life. Expectation can either be a blessing or a curse, but either way it is certainly one of the most powerful unseen forces in your life. One thing that happens after you get into this type of program is you start being more aware of what's going on in your head, and you start being more aware of what's happening to you on your emotional level. Scientists say that we have somewhere between 60,000 and 80,000 thoughts a day. And as you can imagine, it's very hard to keep track of what's happening in your head. But one good indicative of your predominant thought is to analyze your feelings. Feelings are not a lot. I mean, I think we can identify about 20 types of feelings. I mean, it's easier to compare 60, 80,000 thoughts a day, right? And feelings are a good way for you to know what your predominant thoughts were in that day. Wallace Wattles wrote a great book. It's called The Science of Getting Rich. And I always encourage all of our members that are starting the Born Rich program with us to get this book. You can actually go to the website www.thesecret.tv, and on that website, I think there's a section there, gifts from the secret or something. You can download the ebook for free. Wallace Wattles wrote this book in 1903. It's a great book, and it's called The Science of Getting Rich. In the book, he says that a person needs to understand that he or she has the right to be rich, and then needs to learn the science of getting rich. And if that person learns the science of getting rich, they can attract and they can fulfill anything they want with great precision. And I just have a few passages from the book here. And it has a lot to do with what Bob talks in the chapter on expectation. I diverted a bit from what's in the study curriculum, because I just wanted to add some extra information on the call. I mean, you can read the book and you can go through the program and you can learn directly from Bob. My job here is to make sure that I give you maybe some extra content or maybe some situations which I encountered in working with clients or maybe some of our members who ask for help. And this is a big thing that we need to be aware of if we want to develop that expectant attitude. So this is what he writes. He says that there is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which in its original state permeates, penetrates, and fills the interspaces of the universe. A thought in this substance produces the thing that is imaged by the thought. He says a person can form things in his thought, and by impressing his thought upon formless substance, can cause the thing he thinks about to be created. In order to do this, that person must pass from the competitive to the creative mind. He must form a clear mental picture of the thing he wants and hold this picture in his thoughts with the fixed purpose to get what he wants, and the unwavering faith that he does get what he wants, closing his mind to all that may tend to shake his purpose, dim his vision, or quench his faith. So let's go back here and analyze what he's saying here. First of all, he talks about his power, this thinking stuff from which all things are made. And this makes a lot of sense. I mean, everything we see around us in our material world has been made from something. I mean, of course, if we go to religion, religion says that God created the world. And that's true. If you go to science, they're going to talk about the Big Bang, and they're going to talk about evolution, and they're going to talk about stars and atoms, and throughout time things have been formed, and more heavier atoms, and so on. But essentially, they're all saying the same thing. I mean, everything that we see around us has to be created by something. And Wallace D. Wattle says that there's a thinking stuff, an intelligent stuff that creates what's around us. Okay, this is something that I think we all know, and I think this is something we learn from school. But the second paragraph here, a thought in this substance produces a thing that is imaged by the thought. This is something we never, ever, ever really learn in school or pretty much anywhere else outside of the personal development or maybe the religious field. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. This is from the Bible. So there's a lot of evidence in the religious books if we know how to look for them. Unfortunately, many times we don't really get the esoteric sense from what we study from the Bible. Esoteric means the inner sense. We look at the superficial sense, and this is something that we need to study. So a thought in this substance produces a thing that is imaged by the thought. A person can form things in his thought. So we have the ability to think, to create images. And by impressing this thought upon the formless substance can cause the thing he thinks about to be created. So basically we become what we think about. We think something, we impress this thought in the formless substance, and we cause the thing we want to be created. Now this is a very important thing, and this is something they talk about in the movie The Secret. If we have, people say, well, I wish for what I want, or I'm thinking about what I want, but it's not happening. What I found out is that this is not really true. I found out that most people think about something they want maybe 5 seconds a day, and the rest of the 23 hours and 59 minutes, they think about all the reasons in the world why it can be done, and they let all the outside garbage impact their thinking and, of course, their feelings. So an important thing here to develop the expectant attitude is to hold that thought of what you want. In order to do this, that person must pass from the competitive to the creative mind. What does this mean, to pass from the competitive to the creative mind? I mean, we're always used to competition. We're used to a competitive environment. And I think a degree of competition is good as long as it's healthy competition. I think that competing with yourself is the healthiest competition possible. And when you're switching from the competitive to the creative mind, it means you're not trying to drag someone down or envy someone. It means that you understand that this thinking stuff is abundant and can give you anything you want. This is very important for you to form your faith, because if you're trying to think positive, but in the same time you're thinking that you need to put someone down in order for you to achieve what you want, that's not something that's really supported by this creative process. It says here, he must form a clear mental picture of the thing he wants and hold this picture in his thoughts with the fixed purpose to get what he wants. So fixed purpose talks about purpose. How do you form something clear? You write it down. This really organizes your thoughts. And the unwavering faith that he does get what he wants. How do you form faith? We spoke about this on our last call. How do you form belief? You form belief through understanding, through studying, through raising your level of awareness. Closing his mind to all that may tend to shake his purpose, dim his vision, or quench his faith. Now, this is not an easy stuff to do. Why? Because most of the time when you're going in the outside world, you are going to learn a lot of negative information. I'm saying learn because it really gets into your subconscious mind. It's not just something you're hearing. It's something that really goes deep. And this is where you have to develop mental strength in order to develop that expectant attitude. So how does one develop this expecting attitude? As you can see, it's not just something you say, well, have an expecting attitude. There are different parts of it which we need to be aware of. First of all is understanding ourselves. It's understanding this thought process. It's understanding this relationship with this universe or this substance that gives us what we want. So let's have a look here. Number 1, know thyself. And this is a big thing. We say that we learn a lot of things about ourselves, as we go on through life, but many of the things we believe about ourselves are not really true. I mean, most people can't even give a good definition on who they are. As Bob says in the program, if you go and ask someone who that person is, they're going to say, well, I'm TB or I'm John. They're going to say their name. Or they might say, well, I'm a lawyer, or I'm an accountant, or I'm a student, or I'm unemployed, or I'm sick, or I'm broke, and so on. This is not who you are. These are temporary situations about yourself. I mean, if your name is John, today you can go to the courthouse and sign a few documents, and in a very short period of time, you can change your name. If you're a lawyer today and want to become, change your profession, you can do that very fast. I mean, you can become unemployed very fast. It's not a problem. Just do something and it happens, But the idea is that these are things that keep changing. So we always need to be aware of what we think about ourselves and how much we really know ourselves. Knowing yourself is a lifelong process, but there are some ideas you can really get inside of you who can really help you really fast and make the rest of this journey a lot more enjoyable. Our true essence remains unchanged, who we really are. And I have a part from a poem from Marianne Williamson here. I'm sure you've heard it or read it in different places, but I just want to read it again here because it's really, really good. It makes a big point. So ask yourself, who am I? Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that's within us. It's not just in some of us, it is in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Now, this is something really powerful here, and it's true. What does Bob says? Bob says that in the program that we are spiritual beings. Our essence is spiritual. We have an intellect, and then he talks about how awesome our intellect is and that we use less than 5% of our intellectual capacities. And then that we live in a physical body. Most people have it the other way around. It's just such a small part of us. So one thing you really need to get clear if you want to develop that expectant attitude is that you have infinite potential. Is to really get down and know yourself. Because when you do that, you will develop a degree of confidence that no one can take away from you. If you believe in yourself, you have a natural, healthy belief in yourself, nothing anyone can say or even do to you will put you down. So this is the first step, knowing yourself. And what you want to do is to move, make a transformation, make a quantum leap and move from you to U squared. And there's a book here, really helped me a lot, like really helped me a lot. And Bob actually recommended me reading something for 30 days from the book. And can just share a bit of that. There's a chapter in the book here, and I recommend you get it. It's from Price Pritchett, and you should find it on Amazon. I don't think you can find it as an ebook, but it's a very small book, but very powerful. And there's a chapter in the book, and maybe this will, you can relate to this. There's a chapter in the book, it's called Make Your Move Before You're Ready. And I was sitting with Bob in Delray Beach in Miami. We were having breakfast together. And I was telling him about some big plans I have to promote his programs in Europe and in Romania and different things I wanted to do. But all of these things, of course, would have taken me a lot of time. And Bob said, well, what's stopping you from starting right now, the moment you get back to Romania? I said, well, I'm not ready yet, and I don't have the office well established yet, and I don't have the furniture, and I don't have this, and I don't have that, so I'm not ready. He said, well, that's not true. You can start doing that straight away. He said, I started selling Nightingale Conant programs, and I didn't have an office. I was just going out there selling them. He said that if you're sitting in an office, then you're not running a business. You need to be out there. And he said, you need to make your move before you're ready. Because paradigms will have a tendency to give you all the reasons in the world why something won't work, and that you need to wait a bit more and do a little, get a bit better and so on, until you get things perfect. He said things will never be perfect. You need to make your move before you're ready. So this is something that really made an impact on me from the book. And I read the chapter, Make Your Move Before You're Ready, for 30 days, every day, and it was impactful. It's about taking action. It's very important. And this is something I extracted from the actual book. The idea of the book is that you can make a big change without having, to go through a very, let's say, I'm not finding the word here. It talks about making a big change sooner rather than later. Many people think linear or think incremental. Well, this is about making a revolutionary change in your life, taking a quantum leap. And this is what he says. He says U squared implies an explosive jump in your personal performance that puts you far beyond the next logical step. It is a formula for stunning advances in achievement and the realization of your dreams. The concept is one of exponential gains rather than incremental progress. You might compare it to multiplying instead of adding. It means a geometric progression in your effectiveness. Says he that's exciting as well as provocative. But it gets even better. Remember, quantum leaps come without apparent effort. These are high velocity moves that carry you to dramatically higher performance levels without a time-consuming struggle. Quantum leap seems to violate common sense utterly. The idea of moving to a higher orbit and skipping several rungs on the achievement ladder in the process strikes people as far-fetched, maybe even outrageous. And excuse my typo there. But these are things I've been doing my whole life. I've opened businesses like this. I've achieved good positions in different projects like this. Why? Because I really got very serious about this information and I believed in myself. See, there's sky's the limit what you can achieve. I mean, they're protesting in Romania right now, and the whole government quit today and so on. But what I got out from what's happening here in Romania, and I'm not really impacted by the events, but it's happening here in Bucharest, is that your voice can really be heard today. I mean, if you have something to share, and if you're passionate about it, people can really hear you, like big time. So you can make quantum jumps, and if you have something of value and something which you can really offer from the heart, you can touch a lot of people with it. After the fact, quantum leaps may be viewed as practical, sensible, even obvious moves at the moment. Usually it's in retrospect that you perceive their hidden logic and elegance. Invariably, quantum leaps are not complex or intricate maneuvers. They tend to be simple, energy efficient, and time-saving. So think about it. How can you use the power of expectation to make a quantum leap? All the big achievers in the world that made something big and impactful made quantum leaps. Edison made a quantum leap. Zuckerberg with Facebook made a quantum leap. He went from a young dorm attendee, like a college student, from being one of the most powerful people in the world today. That's a quantum leap. And this is something any of us can do. How do you do that? Through ideas, by thinking. So knowing thyself is very important, and you develop yourself through study and through practice. You need to challenge yourself a bit. What's number two? Number two is mental strength. This is another important one. And this is something you need to develop. Every successful business person has mental strength. Otherwise, you cannot endure with the stress that might appear from time to time, the situations that might appear from time to time, and the challenges that appear and the decisions you have to make. The most practical of all methods for controlling the mind is a habit of keeping it busy with a definite purpose backed by a definite plan. How do you develop this mental strength? First of all, you need to understand your intellect. You need to understand what your mental faculties are. You have imagination, reasoning, perception, intuition, will, and memory. You need to understand these 6 faculties and you need to work on them. You need to work on developing them. It's not hard. It's not something you do overnight, but in time, with practice, it happens. Perception is a great thing to work on. Perception will give you the ability to find the good in apparent bad. I always look for the good in things. And because I look for it, I very often, all of the time almost, I find it. And when you find the good in everything, you can profit from it a lot. And the third point here to develop an expectant attitude is action. Taking action is what makes, let's say, the law of attraction work. I mean, if you take attraction, most of the word is spelled action. And I'm going to go back to Wallace D. Wattles again here from his book. Because, many people get into this idea of thinking positive and so on, but they never take action, and without action, nothing really changes. You're really tricking yourself. He says here, thought is the creative power, or the impelling force which causes the creative power to act. Thinking in a certain way will bring riches to you, but you must not rely upon thought alone, paying no attention to personal action. That is the rock upon which many otherwise scientific, metaphysical thinkers meet shipwreck. The failure to connect thought with personal action. Think about this, connecting your thought to personal action. It's not just, banging your head on a wall. That's not taking action. Taking action means getting in alignment with what you want. It means being inspired in your action. That's a good word, inspired action. Because when you think about something and you get emotionally involved in that idea, you will start to get new thoughts will start coming to you. You will start magnetizing new thoughts and ideas that will start showing you a way for you to achieve your goal. And this is where you will need to do something. This is where you will need to take action. We have not yet reached the stage of development, even supposing such a stage to be possible, in which man can create directly from formless substance without nature's processes or the work of human hands. Man must not only think, but his personal action must supplement his thought. And ladies, apologies, this is not a lesson I made for us guys. I'm just taking the excerpt from Wallace D. Wattles' book, and because this book is going over 100 years ago, they used to say man instead of a person back then. I don't know if it's sexist or not, but just replace man with person. Okay? Actually, this is something I just want to share with people. Maybe can help you generate some business. Books like The Science of Getting Rich, As a Man Thinketh, even the original version of Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich from 1934 belong to public domain. What does this mean? It means that you can take the book and republish it and earn an income from it without having to pay royalties to the actual authors. And there's actually someone I know, and what she actually did is she wrote a book. I'm not sure if I remember exactly which book was it, but one thing she really did is instead of man, she replaced this with woman, and she created something like The Science of Getting Rich for Women. And she just had the same text, just replaced man with woman, and it went actually very well. She made some good income with it. The idea is that you can do this. You can edit public domain books and then assume them, and you can create a good income out of it, selling ebooks on Amazon and so on. Just wanted to make a bit of a parenthesis here. So these are the things that develop the expectant attitude. And I just wanted to re-emphasize them here because it's important. It's important to get clear on what you want. It's important to have confidence in yourself. And the best way to develop confidence is to understand yourself and to work on yourself. It's important to develop mental toughness, to not let simple things deviate you from your track and your goal. And then it's important to take action, to go after what you want, because time is precious, of course, and we should be enjoying our time. So this has been my presentation on expecting an abundance. And if you feel that you need more help on this, I encourage you to go through the lesson again and go in the Pornich program again and work with the Freedom Series audio program from your account, because they're really good and they supplement this program very, very well. It's something you can take and use in your car or your iPhone or whatever gadget you use. And next week we have a very commercial lesson. It's the law of vibration and attraction. Maybe we're all here today because we saw The Secret and got us in the field of personal development, network marketing, and so on. And I'm looking forward to see you on our next call next week. Work with your accountability partner. read from the book, work with the workbook together, have fun with it, and have fun growing, developing, evolving, because this is what it's all about. So I want to thank you again for taking the time to be here on the call. Looking forward to meet you again next week. Any questions you might have, send us an email. We're always happy to support you. And this has been TB from Bucharest, Romania. Have a wonderful day. And by the way, I'm hope to see some of you guys in Sofia in Bulgaria in the weekend. Don and Nancy will be there. So hope some of you guys can come there and spend some time together. All the best and take care.